Welcome to Psychologist Talks. On today's short, we're going to talk about this notion or this adage of kernels of truth, finding or extracting kernels of truth in our experience. I offer this frequently to folks who come to see me because we as human beings often overcorrect towards over-legitimization or over-delegitimization of our experiences. And do note, this isn't just an individual phenomenon. Societies often do this. And while sometimes we head in a productive direction, very frequently we are legitimizing things that could actually use a little delegitimization and vice versa. So let me just go through two quick examples more on the individual level to illustrate the importance of finding kernels of truth. On the legitimization side of things, which might sound like a positive word, but again, we're being agnostic about this, depression. Depression is a notorious experience where people over-legitimize it. We just succumb to this onslaught of negative thoughts and feelings about ourselves and others in the world at large. And to our credit, to the credit of the field, we definitely want to decrease the experiences of that. However, not to the credit of our field, and especially in the medical model, we treat it like a disease. We treat it like some sort of thing that we need to get rid of, that it's merely a chemical imbalance, instead of, we do want to decrease the severity, but it's also indicative of a potential signal emotion. Signal emotion being an emotion that signals that there's something else at hand, there's something that we might want to pay attention to. In depression, to me, 9 times out of 10, amidst all the lies that it's trying to tell you, there's one kernel of truth somewhere in there. It doesn't get conjured out of simply nowhere. That, if we pause and we extract out the lies, the things we've internalized from our childhood that we're just carrying around with us, there still might be a kernel of truth. It's alerting us to something important. Maybe you're not where you're at in life, where you want to be in life, or you haven't reached some sort of goal, or there's some sort of challenge, or something's wrong in one of your relationships. It behooves us to pay attention to that stuff. And if we seek to overcorrect and just delegitimize the depression, we miss out on something very valuable. The contrary is also true. Let's take tough feedback from a coworker or a loved one or something like that. Not fun to experience. And indeed, sometimes when people are giving us negative feedback, they're lashing out. It might not be totally legitimate, but it is dangerous to so quickly delegitimize because most people are not sadists. Most people are not hurting people just for the fun of it. Usually there's some sort of a spark. There's something that could represent a kernel of truth about their experience of you. Now, again, I'm not saying you get to define or you should define yourself based on the feedback of others, let alone one person, nor is it our job to mind read where people are at. But if people are coming to me and they're like, this negative thing happened, I didn't like it, screw that person, I'm like, well, okay, indeed, you can say screw that person. But let's pause for a moment and just be curious. Is there any possible kernel of truth that we could extract? This happens again at a macro level, socially, politically. We have these really charged things that happen. They become these sorts of caricatures of the kernel of truth that it originated from. So it behooves us, if you're listening or watching this, my challenge to you is in any challenging experience in your life, while you don't need to be totally legitimizing or delegitimizing it, at the end of the day, can you pause and challenge yourself to extract any possible kernels of truth? I think we will do better as a society, and you will do better as an individual if you can practice more of that in your life. As always, I appreciate you watching and listening, and stay curious.